That guy is all over the field all the time. He's always backing up bases. Here's a shortstop playing up the middle, and you just saw him on the third base line. He really can get right and left.
So Gonzalez will be faced with the unenviable task of pitching against Eugene Ray, the Canadian Baseball League's top hitter. Hitting .515. And for those of you mathematically challenged at home, that's at least one hit every other time up. Oh! He looks at the first pitch from Gonzalez. That one's low and in the dirt for ball one.
This is just a treat to watch there, Ray hit. He's so easy up at the plate, has an easy swing, hits the ball to all fields, has power, finds the alleys, has a home run this year. Got two this year, as a matter of fact.
Oh! Ozuna on at first base. Nere looks at another ball, and he's worked the count to his favor at 2-0.
His English is excellent. He grew up in Japan, graduated from university there, and I really enjoyed the conversation with him. And maybe one of the reasons he's sitting so well, Sam, his hero, Sadaharu Oh.
Not bad. The Japanese legend, Sadaharu Oh. Whoa! Pretty good guy you want to keep as your role model, that's for sure. Ozuna's on at first base. Gonzalez works. This pitch high, and he's fallen behind Nere 3-0.
No big deal to this big guy, Gonzalez. He knows what to do. Come in with a strike, one ground ball. He's out of this trouble that he's in too early here. They keep the ball down on Nere, but not getting too good of a strike, despite the 3-0 count. He might be swinging.
Here comes the 3-0, and Nere will look at that one, and it's in there for a strike.
Gonzalez told us that he had 3 pitches, but he actually has 4 because he throws that split finger in 2 ways, one for location and one to get extra drop.
Ozuna short lead at first. He's nursing a leg injury as well as Nere fouls this ball back, so we don't expect him to be on the move. Has come back here, has played just 11 games for the London Monarchs, and so he's a guy we'll keep our eye on as far as his health is concerned.
He said they like to be a catcher. No one can steal. They're all nursing sore legs.
Here comes the 3-2 pitch from Gonzalez. On his way from first is Ozuna, and he pulls up as Nere fouls that one back.
Well, that's a smart play, and even though Ozuna's not 100%, number one, you can't keep Willie Wilson from playing that kind of baseball. He's done it for a long, long time. But number two, Nere is such a good contact hitter, chances are he's going to put the ball in play somewhere.
The Niagara Stars came out bang, put 3 on the board in the first inning. The Monarchs trying to get it back. Eugene Nere facing a 3-2 count against Juan Gonzalez. Pitch on its way. A shattered bat as this ball rolls foul. And the head of the bat went all the way out to second base.
Then you notice the players picking the bat pieces up now, and everybody picks it up and takes an extra look because they're looking for something inside that bat. Is there a little cork? Watch this thing now. Why is it shattered? Because look at the fastball right on the inside of the plate that made contact with that just about an inch or two above his right hand on the top end of the bat.
Now, how did I know you were going there, Tommy?
I'll tell you, if anyone has cork on their bat these days, that they would have to fall into the class of one of those, what's that show, The America's Dumbest Criminal?
Yeah.
That's not the time to be corking your bat, because everybody's looking for it.
So the left-handed hitting Nere will step back in the box with a new piece of lumber.
Let's go, let's go.
He'll send the bat boy back with the shattered pieces back behind the catcher and over to his own dugout. As for Gonzalez, a 3-2 count facing Nere. Ozuna, the runner on first. Gonzalez gives him the courtesy look. Ozuna not moving. This pitch on the outside part of the plate, and he gets Nere looking.
Boy, that was really nice pitching by Gonzalez. Inside, he busted the bat, and then what did he do with that one? He just took something just off the fastball and threw it right on the outside of the plate. Look at that. Boy, great job of framing by Arias as well, the catcher. That ball was in there.
Hope you had it, Sammy. Yeah, Timmy, we were here at the ballpark. Didn't get a chance to watch the race, only the replay. And sorry to tell you I didn't have it. I hope you did.
Last horse Sam bet on was Seattle Slow, I think.
The 3-hole hitter, Eugene Nere, steps in with a runner on second base. Nere looks at ball 1 up high, and you can see Gonzalez kind of snapping his hand down as to indicate he really didn't get the snap on the curveball he wanted there. As Nere looked at it, it was a little high in the zone, so Nere watched it go by for ball 1. Checks the runner at second. Pitch outside part of the plate. Misses for ball 2.
This is where Gonzalez, veteran that he is, has to really be careful. The 3-4-5 hitters for London are what has them contending for first place, in my opinion. DeRay is a threat to hit the ball to any part, right field corner, left field corner, into the gap. You really can't throw a pitch to him that he can't hit somewhere.
He's got a couple of home runs to boot, so he does have some power. It's on its way from Gonzalez. This one up high as well. The count moves to 3-0, but here's a guy in DeRay who everyone thought his career ended in a collision with the Ottawa Lynx a couple of years ago. Had some vision problems as a result of the collision, came back to play in the Independent Northern League, and now finds himself in the Canadian Baseball League having great success. Gonzalez checks the runner at second. Pitch on its way. This one up and into Neray. And not only has he done well hitting, but here's a very disciplined hitter as well. This time he takes a 4-pitch walk.
I never really saw his strike. DeRay is, and you know, his story is one that you really want to root for too, because he's such a good guy. You know, you say, geez, wouldn't someone give this guy a chance? Because it looks like he can hit any type of pitch.
Some of the Japanese media on hand yesterday. All right, thanks very much, Tim. Welcome back to Labatt Park here in London. Sam Cosentino and Tom Ball, along with Ryan Payton, bringing you baseball night in Canada action. It's the London Monarchs playing host to the Niagara Stars. Here we are in the bottom of the 5th inning, 2 out. The Stars lead at 3-2. Three-hole hitter Eugene Neray steps in. This broadcast brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi, the official sponsor of the Canadian Baseball League. Gonzalez checks the sign for the 1-0 pitch. It's on its way. Neray, big swing to right field. This will drop in for a base hit and probably extra bases. Neray hobbling with that bad hamstring, chucks his way into second base. The leadoff double, or 2-out double rather, for the London Monarchs.
Oh, he's a dangerous hitter. He, as I said, he can hit it any part of the park. You don't know, with 3 outfielders, you still can't cover enough ground. He hits it foul pole to foul pole. And the way he steps, as a lot of Asian players do, as he steps into that bucket towards first base when he swings, that really invites that pulling fastball. When you see that fastball hit in a while, and maybe Wild has a way of flashing the signs to the hitter, so they're probably getting into a situation where they flash me 3 signs and it'll really be the second one, but we won't tell anybody.
And that's good communication, obviously, between Neray and Wild out at second base. Hubble looks him over at second. Again, Wild's got a big lead. Neray looks at the pitch for a ball. Carlos Wild, if he can get to third base with less than 2 out, that's the optimum thing for Willie Wilson in this first inning. Get a guy over to third base, less than 2 out, then anything can really bring him home, including a sac fly. Now you see pickoff play, and looks like they almost had Carlos Wild at second base. So we talked about that sizable lead. I guess the Stars picked up on that because Hubble goes to Beltran over at short, who snuck in behind the runner.
Well, one of the few guys on the field who can rival Wild's speed is the shortstop, Danilo Beltran. He sneaked in there behind and really did a good job blocking the base as well.
Hubble's had a little trouble getting his rhythm going so far. He's got runner on base already. Has already had to call Arias out to check the signs as well, and now he's fallen behind 2-0 to Eugene Neray.
Wild is doing his job supremely well right now. Wild is not going to steal third base. This Neray can put some kind of charge into the ball, and Cabrera on deck. Willie's not going to have him going anywhere, but he's disrupted Hubble, and Hubble's thinking about the runner on base.
You see that lofty average in the early part of the season, 615, and part of that is because he has good patience at the plate. Has now worked the count for 3-0.
Now first base open. I mean, granted, you don't want to face Cabrera with 2 runners on base, but he is also a potential double play guy.
Well, that's what you talk about when you talk about protection in the lineup. This is we're seeing evidence of this right now. Having to pitch around Neray a little bit, but they don't want to be too cutesy. Again, with Cabrera coming up, an extra duck in the pond. So they fake back to second base. Beltran now paying a little more attention to Carlos Wild out at second base, and you can tell that the Stars are very much worried about Wild's speed.
And Hubble as well, thinking about the runner instead of a 3-0 count, getting some strikes to the catcher.
Wild on his way to third, pitch inside, throw down, and Carlos Wild is in there with a stolen base as Eugene Neray takes the walk. So there we talked about it, and season.
Well, that's it. He didn't want to have Royce leave after giving up 2 bombs, but he wouldn't have thrown Royce more than 4 innings. He's going to, it's bullpen by committee tonight.
Eugene Neray leads it off for Willie Wilson here in the London Monarchs in the top of the 4th inning. Neray walked back in the first inning and was stranded there.
You see, Neray, when you want to watch bat quickness, you can't see that from behind the plate. You have to go into the open side of the hitter. In a left-handed hitter's case, you're looking in from third base right here. Watch this bat through the zone. The thing Neray has, the two guys in the ball game tonight you want to watch from that third base side are this fella Neray and Rich Butler. They have real compact, strong swings through the hitting zone.
Very similar, as you say, so fast through the zone, and that's one of the most important things about hitting is the bat speed, and those two guys possess it for sure. The 1-2 pitch to Neray. Strike three as Neray was fooled by the Hubble breaking ball, and Travis Hubble continues to roll along here for the Stars.
Hubble got ahead of the hitter, and here's the curveball. Look at that Uncle Charlie come down, and there's no doubt that Eugene knew he was.
Well, Tommy, as you know, I had the chance to work. There's a base hit by Sasaki into left field. We'll see if he tries to stretch this into two. Makes a big turn at first, and will retreat back to the bag as the left fielder, Matt George, picks it up and gets it in a hurry. So Sasaki leads off here the top of the sixth inning with a base hit to left field. And getting back to Beeston, I spent 12 years in the Blue Jays organization, 9 of which I worked under Paul Beeston. Here's a guy who knew everybody from the top of the organization to the bottom of the organization. What a fantastic guy he was to work for.
No, you don't get any better, and he's such a nice person to be in a room with. He doesn't have any pretenses. He's done all these things that people dream about doing, and he's just still just an average Joe. You know, on that plate, Willie Wilson was looking at the runner like, I wish he would have taken second base there, and Sasaki was probably thinking, hey, we're down 3. I'm not going to take any chances, but I don't think Willie Wilson likes to see guys get out of their game. Just because we're down 3, we'll take them back one at a time. We don't need to have all 3 in one inning.
Well, that's an interesting point. I mean, you still want to continue to play the game hard and play it by putting pressure on the defense, which what Willie Wilson's teams have done throughout the season so far. McPherson's still icing that leg in the London Monarchs dugout. Sasaki takes the lead. Eugene Neray, the hitter. Count 1-0 to Neray. Hubble checks the runner, decides to throw over. And Tommy, when you talked about Sasaki maybe not taking that extra base, maybe by way of the steal will he be able to advance to second?
Exactly. The nice thing, too, for Neray is that he's got a bigger hole at first base to punch one through.
Great shot there. You get the pitcher, and in the background you get to see how big a lead the runner Sasaki has at first base. You see him looking very intensely over at Willie Wilson to check the sign. Quick word with the first baseman, Modami. He takes his lead over at first base, and Hubble again will be bothered by that runner on base.
Well, that's how Hubble got in trouble in the first inning. You remember, Wild got on base and started causing havoc. Hubble settled down, got himself a ground ball, and got out of the inning. And now Willie's thinking, that worked before. I'm going to start something up again.
Eugene Neray, a very good bat control.
There's his changeup grip you saw before the game. That's going to have the appearance of a fastball, but come in about 10% slower.
I think you might have changed that grip in the glove. Let's take you back to the Score Studios in Caroline Frolic for the Sports Update.
Thanks, Dan. Well, Roger Clemens failed in his attempt to win his 300th.
Again, or Ohio, or wherever those other Frontier League and some of those other league teams come from.
Shinichi Sasaki, the two-hole hitter, in to face Quintero. 2 outs in the inning. The pitch from Quintero, he slips. It bounces at about 60 feet, or make it 58 feet, and goes up and hits Sasaki in the butt, so he'll get the free pass to first base.
Looked like the pitcher Quintero had a bit of a problem with his footwork on that delivery, and the pitch went in. It didn't even make it to the dirt. Yeah, you can see his landing, like just the right foot there, his spike caught the turf early, and it just resulted in a bad pitch. No big deal, 2 outs, and that's why, there's another thing about a good pitcher. You can make a mistake like that, but because you haven't walked the guy before him and served up a 3-0 count before that, you're not in big trouble right now.
Sasaki really, he didn't know how to react there. I mean, the ball bounced about 58 feet, and he kind of just turned his body, but he didn't know what he was faced with right off the get-go.
Now, we say no harm yet, but look at the guy at the plate, Eugene Neray. If there's one dangerous guy, and Cabrera's next, it's Neray. This guy scares me. He has really got that Rich Butler type of bat swing quickness, a compact swing. He could turn his whole game around in one swing of the bat, make it 6-5 London.
Some of Eugene's fans in the house here tonight, sitting right behind home plate to watch their star from Japan, the former Montreal Expos farmhand. Quintero works lefty to lefty, and Neray got caught stepping in the bucket there and allowed that pitch to go by for a strike.
Well, Arias and Quintero have their chemistry going, they're going to throw the exact same pitch this time. It's 1-2 count. Good time to trick him again. Come with that inside curveball or maybe inside heat.
Pitch swung on. Nere fights it off and fouls it back. Well, Quintero